Yeah.
Know you are loved, rest in peace. Dream your sweet dreams till your soul is released. Know you are loved, rest in peace. Dream your sweet dreams till your soul is released. Know you are loved, rest in peace. Dream your sweet dreams till your soul is released. And we ain't coming back to your hometown, to your hometown, to your hometown, to your hometown. Last night you came, we laid in bed, talking about getting goes on, and this old world will keep on turning. Let's just be glad we had some time spent together. There's no need to watch the bridges that we're burning. Lay your head upon my pillow. Hold your warm and tender body close to mine. Hear the whisper of the raindrops blowing soft against the window. And make believe you love me one more time. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. They're really saying I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They learn much more than I ever knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Microphone will have a switch.
There we go. No, too
Yeah,
loud.
a bit too much.
Is that better? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that
You
better?
have to get a bit closer.
Bit. Is that better now? Can everyone hear up the back? No? Louder? We did a sound check earlier before everybody got here. Can you hear up the back there now? All good. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And just before we start, I've been asked to do a few things. Firstly, to remind everybody, if they would, to put their phone onto silent or turn them off at the moment. It won't worry me, but you might be embarrassed later in the day. The other thing I'm supposed to tell you is there are toilets inside the building, and there are more ladies' toilets up this end where the visitors, the lady rugby players are going to their change room. So there's more toilets up that way for the ladies as well. But my first duty is to ask Graham's daughter, Kate, if she'd come forward and do an acknowledgement of country.
Thanks, Phil. I want to acknowledge the sovereign and the traditional owners of the lands on which we are gathering together today. And I extend our respect by acknowledging the custodians of the old ways, the Nyangbull people of the Bundjalung Nation, and to any Aboriginal people who are here today, to our elders, both past and into the future. I honour the sky, the land, and the water ancestors of this place. I acknowledge the gifts of the land, the river, the ocean that we are on, and we recognise that there's continuing connections to this place that we know as Ballina. And those things come with obligations, and those obligations have continued for thousands of generations. Thank you for having us on country. I also want to acknowledge that we all have connections to country. We all have connections in our heart to a place where we call home. It may be here or overseas or another part of Australia. And it's our shared humanity that gives us obligations to care for country. And I just thank everybody for being here today.
Thanks very much, Kate. My name is Phil Chapman, and on behalf of Pam and the whole family, I welcome you to this service here today for Graham Benson Steele, better known simply as Graham, of course, Steely, Steelman, and I'm sure that there are many of you here, especially from the rugby club, who would have other names for him as well that we shouldn't use here today. He was certainly a special bloke. But the memory of friends who have stood by Pam and the family during this time will be a consolation to them later during those inevitable moments of grief and emptiness. So thank you all for being here to show your love, your support and your respect. And thanks to all those who are joining us via the live streaming service. Although we are separated by distance and time, you are all most welcome, and we know that you both mourn and celebrate with us today. In a number of ways, death unites us all. Graham's death for the time demands that each of us put aside our work, our cares, our business, our pleasures, to unite ourselves with everyone else here, fellow mourners and family who share a common bond of love and respect for Graham, for Pam and the family, and especially for Kate, Rebecca, Richard and William. It's a time for us to stop for a moment, to stop the onrush of life, to pause for a little while and reflect. And when we talk about Graham's life, there's really a lot to reflect upon, because he was a unique character, unique in so many different ways. And today we will recall some of those experiences, some of those relationships, the loves and friendships that you shared with him. Now, some of these memories I'm sure are great ones. Mostly all would be eventful, and some of them may be touched with sadness. But whatever the memories, as we celebrate his life today, you can take great satisfaction that Graham has been and still is very much part of our life, very much part of our memories. His influence and his character certainly will endure. Now, just by the sheer number of people attending today and those watching on live streaming service, attests to the fact that Graham had a huge impact on family, on friends, and on the community in which he lived and loved, especially this rugby club. Later, you will all be invited to refreshments where I'm sure there will be some very special stories, special memories of events and achievements, and also many memories of fun times. And I've got a funny idea that there might be a few old footy boots strapped on again today. By the look of some of the old fellas I've seen here, I'd reckon it's been a while since I've had them on. But my purpose is simply to lead you in a few words of comfort and commemoration. And I don't think Graham would have wanted too much of a fanfare, really. The Graham I knew, he would have just wanted to be remembered for the good person that he was. He would want us to tell a few yarns, and we all know he was pretty good at that. He would want us to have a few beers and to get on with our lives. Well, that will probably not happen today, as Graham was involved in so many things and he did so much for his community. But while preparing for this service today, I too was contemplating on the Graham Steele that I knew. He was probably one of the first people I met when I arrived in Ballina in 1981. And at that time, I was involved in the Crowley Village project. And when you begin to build a complex of that size, of course, you'll need a surveyor. Often, shall we say, we had some on-site meetings, which were held at the relaxed atmosphere. And of course, that was the front bar of the Australian Hotel. Some days something would be scratched out on the back of a beer coaster and voila, in a few days' time, there it was in print. You couldn't believe it happened. And that wasn't just me, the whole committee used to meet there. Not only did we solve the problems associated with the village project, but later in the evening we solved a few world problems as well. But while preparing for the service today, I come across this short reading. It was not long after Pam had phoned, which I just read this and I thought, this is Graham Steele. This is what he would say to you today. When I am gone, fear not to say my name, nor to speak of me in hushed tones, as though it were a shame for me to die. Let me figure in your daily life. Speak of my loves and my hates, and how I used to talk and laugh. This way I'll forever be in your memory. Remember the good times. Remember the laughter, not the tears, the loving, not the anger, the courage, not the pain. My generous heart is still at last, and I don't want anyone to be sad. And that just jumped out to me as the Graham that I knew. Now, in a moment or two, it's going to be our privilege to share a little bit of Graham's life story, so you don't have to listen to me all afternoon. But after speaking with the family, I know that he would want us to, not to grieve in hurt or pain, but to grieve in the joy that we've all shared with him. So I'm going to ask friends and family to come forward and share some tributes. And firstly, I'm going to ask his sister Lynette Binns to come forward.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have been asked to talk about the family aspects of Graham's early life, and I shall start in 1942. 1942, not a good year. Singapore had just fallen and Darwin was being bombed. Then, on the 24th of that month, Graham Benson Steele was born, the first son for Heather and Ron. He arrived with a bang, weighing a hefty 5.2 kilograms. Dad was in the army, so the household was one of women, and Graham was atrociously spoiled. But not by me, however, as I was nearly 6 years old and wanted a sister. We lived in a modest terrace house in Helston Park, now a trendy area of Sydney. Surprisingly, Graham was a shy little boy, and he spoke to no one and took to hiding under tables and behind lounges on any social occasion. He soon grew out of that. After the arrival of younger brother Dennis, our family went bush to the wilds of Blakehurst on the Georges River. It was a wonderful place to grow up. Freedom to run wild and not a helicopter parent in sight. Land was only $80 for a quarter-acre block back in those days. Graham learned to swim at the local tidal baths and Cronulla Ocean Pool. He learned to sail at the Connells Point Sailing Club, went to South Carlton Primary School, Hurstville Opportunity School and Canterbury Boys High School. He joined the Cubs and Scouts and enlisted as a senior cadet in the Australian Military Forces, which was much better than school. Bren guns, 303s, Vickers and Owen guns, 3-inch mortars and hand grenades. What more could a 13-year-old boy want? He finally progressed to cadet under officer. Unfortunately, he also had to attend school when he wasn't preparing for World War III. For someone who ran away from school on the first day of kindergarten, he scraped through the leaving certificate in 1958 with a smattering of French, German, Latin, and trigonometry. He then started as an article surveyor with the New South Wales Lands Department, $12 a week, and he was immediately sent west. This nurtured his love of the bush, and he worked with some really great bush surveyors from the Barrington Tops to Moree, all along the Lachlan River, staying under canvas in shearing quarters and outback pubs. Over the next 8 years, while still supposedly working, he dabbled in gold prospecting, droving, wheat carting, woolshed pressing, girls and beer. During this period, he hooked up with the Molong Rugby Club, met and married his first wife, Colleen, and spent a couple of years in the Army Reserves. Finally, after 8 years, he completed his 4-year course, which included astronomy, geology, valuation, town planning and mapping. He kind of settled down, and in '68 moved to Ballina with Colleen and first son Richard. He commenced work in private practice with Lismore firm Hosey and Butler, opening up the Ballina branch next to Gould's produce store, which is now the Westpac Bank. High tides used to see mangroves growing between the River Street footpath and what is now Woolworths front door. He thrived in Ballina, and the Steele household soon swelled with the arrival of Kate, Rebecca and Will. He was very involved in the local community, including being a foundation member of the Lismore and Rugby clubs, Ballina Rugby clubs, the latter of which he became a life member. Our mother's family history started in the Northern Rivers, and Graham was instrumental in most of the family finally moving back to this area. His main claim to fame in the family was his poetic ability to pen limitless limericks for any occasion, be it birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, you name it. All written on meters and meters of toilet paper, all very witty, insulting, and libelous. They are now collector's items. If you have one, hang on to them. In '88, Graham married again to Pam, and they had 36 very happy years together, with Pam giving him unstinting encouragement and support, especially in the latter part of his life. From my own experience, Graham was very sensitive, helpful, and generous to me when I needed it. Graham and Dennis and I shared the same black sense of humour, and sibling rivalry in trying to solve the cryptic crosswords. We were very lucky to have had him for a brother and miss him dreadfully. Most of all, we shall miss the laughter. In answer to your last cryptic, Oscar, thanks for the memories. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Lynn. I'd like to ask a long-time friend and colleague, Steve Connolly. Thanks. Steve's just a tad taller than me. Only by a bit.
Thank you. My friend Graham Steele was a multifaceted guy. Today I'm just going to talk about 4 of those personalities. Registered Surveyor Steele, Explorer Steele, the urbane Mr. Steele, and Graham Steele, a strategist. Registered Surveyor Steele, as Lynn's told you, commenced with the Lands Department and moved to Ballina to be in private practice. In Ballina, he was fortunate to have the great support of his business partner, Warren Diggins, his sister Lynn, and Annette Gibson. As well, many survey luminaries have passed through the doors of Steele & Associates, including Graham Love, Phil Hancock, Scott Thompson, and Chris Abbott. Registered Surveyor Steele was at the top of his game. He was the president of both the Country Surveyors Association and the New South Wales Institute of Surveyors. His survey work in this locality included the Coast Road between Suvla Street and Lennox Head, Evans Head Bombing Range, Kingsford Smith Park Design and Construction, Ballina Fair, the Council Chambers, Ballina Swimming Pool, the old version, to Olympic specifications, projects like the subdivisions at Jemison, Bel Air, North Lakes, River Bend, Pacific Pines, Castle Drive, and Tara Downs. Graham also worked away from the locality. For example, he did a lot of work for Transgrid, running transmission lines in Bucker Heads, Kempsey, Inverell, Moree, up through Armidale and even into Texas, often by himself. Number 2 character or personality of Graham to talk about today was Explorer Steele. Many of the people I see here today have had fantastic adventures with Graham over the years. And Graham and Pam have traversed up and down in the 4 corners of Australia. I had the pleasure of travelling with him often, and those visits included bicycling through the French Pyrenees, chasing bag snatchers in Montmartre in Paris, swimming in the Dardanelles after visiting Anzac Cove, hot air ballooning with his lovely wife Pamela in Cappadocia, kicking the dirt in the ruins of Ephesus, sailing around the Greek and Turkish islands and the Aegean, long-tail boats speeding up the River Kwai, riding elephants, again with Pam, I couldn't fit on one, in Thailand, bobbing up and down junk boats in Halong Bay, lining up with the noisy French crowd to see some rugby matches in Stade de France in Paris, and even scuba diving with giant manta rays in the Maldives. Number 3 personality today for Graham Steele was the urbane Mr. Steele. Most of the people here today know the Graham Steele who is the rugby playing Graham Steele and the bush band bassist Graham Steele. There was another one, a quite urbane type. For example, in his role as the president of the Institute of Surveyors, Graham would often don the suit and tie and mingle with the country's best. Graham could be a fantastic showman in those circumstances, moving easily in important ceremonial events, between speaking French to the Governor-General's wife at Government House to lobbying the hard heads of New South Wales Treasury. My fourth Graham Steele is the strategist. Particularly in the 70s and 80s, Graham provided wise counsel to many of the political class of Ballina. A great number of the fantastic achievements that we see in Ballina Shire today were nurtured from ideas founded by Graham. For today, I'll just share one little quick anecdote. Back in the 70s, the location we now call Fawcett Park was a marine industrial site full of work associated with slipways and the like. The operator at that time had decided to get out of the business and was being feted by the local developer community. Had it not been for Graham's crafty strategies, that land today would be resplendent with 3-storey walk-up flats. Graham successfully lobbied the municipal mayor at the time to contemplate acquisition. Mr. Marriott saw the wisdom of that approach, and council acquired the land. Today, Ballina is much the greater as a consequence of having Fawcett Park as a splendid piece of open space right next to the river. In closing, I too would like to go to the cryptic written by Graham in his self-drafted obituary. Thank you for the memories.
Thanks very much, Steve. His friend Tim Trotter now.
Steely knew that I'm soft and hopeless at this sort of stuff, so he wrote what I had to say. And even then I'll be struggling to get through it, but here we go. His love of rugby took him to New Zealand, United States, England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales and France, but not as a player. For, as by his own admission, he was a mediocre light wave reserve grade breakaway. He might have been a lousy footballer, but he loved what came after the game, the camaraderie, the bus trips, the singing, and the lifelong friendships. The singing morphed into the genesis of Ballina Rugby Bush Band. The lagerphone and the washboard still came out of mothballs every now and again and joined a great bunch of his rough muso mates. With Chris Hickey and Cole Groves as coaches, he helped in managing Ballina Rugby to 6 premierships in the 1990s. He enjoyed sailing his Hobie Cat in Byron Bay, cycling in France, sailing the Greek Isles, scuba diving in the Maldives, snow skiing, travelling through Turkey and Indochina, and playing golf badly everywhere. Well, Steelman, I think you might have sold yourself a little way short. I was lucky enough to play a few games with him, and he played hard. He was that tearaway breakaway that every team craves. He may never have mastered the sidestep or excelled in ball skills, and I was never really sure if he knew that you should run into the gaps between the defensive players rather than aim up the nearest one and charge. However, his greatest skill was the ability to win the ball from rucks and mauls. He would somehow dive in, burrow under, in the middle of a dozen bigger blokes and come up with the ball. Sometimes If the halfback wasn't ready, he'd have a huge grin on his face, tuck the ball under his wing, and take off, arms and legs everywhere, looking for someone to slam into. His energy, enthusiasm, and never say die attitude made him an awesome member of any team. One of my favourite memories is sitting with Blacko and George after winning the grand final in '75, and along comes Steely with a few beers for us. He told us how proud he was of the way we played and had embraced the game and our new club. Then he laughed and said he thought it was great that we were exactly half his age. He went on to be the first player in the club to clock up 100 games before coaching and finally becoming the best team manager any club had ever had. He embraced life like few others. Thanks for the memories. This will just take a second. Or two. So a little, hello. A little bit of backstory. A couple of years ago, I was at Steelman's place and had beautiful dinner cooked by Pam, and out came the red wines, as was normal for Steely. And after several too many red wines, out come the guitar, and I had this epiphany or something like that. Steely, I know this song and I'm going to play it at your funeral. And the bastard remembered. It's probably a bit loud. A bit loud for me. Years old with a flour sack cape tied around his neck. He climbed up on the garage, figuring what the heck. He screwed his courage up so tight, but the whole thing came unwound. He took a running start, but bless his heart, he headed for the ground. 'Cause he's one of those who knows that life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath, and always trust your cape. He was all grown up with a flour sack cape tied around his dreams. He's full of piss and vinegar, and he's busting at the seams. He licked his finger and checked the wind. It's gonna be do or die, 'cause he's not scared of nothing, boys. He's pretty sure he'll fly. 'Cause he's one of those who knows that life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath, and always trust your cape. He's all grown up with a flour sack cape tied around his head. He's still jumping off the garage and he will be until he's dead. For all these years the people said he's acting like a kid, but he did not know he could not fly, so he did. 'Cause he's one of those who knows that life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath, and always trust your cape. Now he's past where his flour sack cape still fly tight around his soul. He's up there still flying, slightly out of control. He's shit stirring and telling tales, pushing boundaries where he can. He lived life to the fullest, remember our steel man. 'Cause he's one of those who knows that life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath, and always trust your cape.
Well, thanks very much to all the performers there, especially Tim. You got through it, eh? It's the main thing. And now I'd like to ask Pam Steele if she'd come forward, please. She's got a few words to say. She's probably relishing in this. It's probably her turn. She's able to talk now. Oh, no, you could. You were a good match for you. Hang on. Oh, you've got to come there somewhere. How's that? Close?
Oops. Yeah, that's. Can you hear me down there? Yes? Make it louder. I'll yell. How's that down there? Good? Okay. Thank you to Steve and Tim. I've lost it. And the other one. The girl of the family. Sorry, Lynn. First of all, thank you to friends and family, some of whom have travelled long distances to share with us on this special day. I thank you all. Thanks, a small word which can mean so much. Many times over the past 6 months, I have expressed my profound thanks to so many wonderful people. Doctors and nurses in 4 different hospitals took care of Steelman, where he was looked after with respect, kindness, and good and sometimes black humour. Members of our local palliative care team, allied health and community nurses who enabled me to keep a promise I made to Steelman to let him die in our home. You have all been so very caring. His fate was sealed when he became aware that he had a glioblastoma, an aggressive brain tumour. Given that awful prognosis of short-term life due to the tumour's nature, he chose to not proceed with any treatment, thereby allowing him to make the most of every minute of every day instead of the grind of radiotherapy or chemotherapy. He ultimately chose to explore the newly passed legislation in New South Wales of voluntary assisted dying. It was an extremely brave path to follow, but ultimately he was able to end his life with his dignity intact and at a time of his own choosing. I fully supported him, and I will always be incredibly proud of my husband forever. Throughout the past 6 months, he and I have been heavily supported by more wonderful people. Our families and a large band of loving friends who made it possible for Steelman to enjoy his last days and die as he had lived, brave, courageous and loving. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So, my thanks to everyone who, in one way or another, boosted our morale and comforted us when it all seemed too hard to bear, and who continue to do so to this day. Big thanks to my sister Carol and my niece Samantha. Also the love, strength and support of Graham's daughters Kate and Rebecca. Thanks just doesn't seem enough for the strength given to me by our long-term friends. Heartfelt thanks to those who gave their time to prepare our rugby club today. They know who they are. Steelman's presence is here today. I just have to look around. To you, Steelman, I say, as has been said a little earlier, thanks for the memories, my love. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Pam. How brave was that, eh? Pretty good. I'd like to ask Seeley's brother-in-law, Tony George, to come forward. He's got an email to read, I believe. It's a bit late.
I was a little bit frightened about getting up here today because I thought that I may have to make a speech and I would become a little bit too emotional, and I may be a little bit too emotional reading out this email, which is from Steely's nephew, David, who is here today, and I'm sure that David would not have been able to get through it himself. This was an email that was sent to Graham while he was alive, and Graham was very appreciative of it and thanked David. The email goes as follows. Dearest Graham, as a boy, I grew up in a family where no matter how much Mum tried to be everyone a boy needed, she could not simply be that one thing I desperately wanted, a father. With no father, I had no real-world example of what a man was. I always looked for inspiration where I could find it. I idolised Dennis Lilly and Roosters fullback Russell Fairfax. Movie stars like Harrison Ford and Sean Connery were amazing to me, but they had nothing to do with my world. I wanted to listen and learn from a man who would help shape my idea of what I could or want to be like. And on every one of those absolutely joyous family get-togethers, for either Easter, Christmas, Cracker Night, or milestone birthdays, I did listen and learn, because as far back as memory serves me, I have always admired the man you are. Your strength of character, your sense of adventure, your deep love and affection for those you cared for, your commitment to being as hard as nails when required, and your ever-loving, evolving and expanding ability to be one of the funniest bastards I have ever known. To me, you were part pirate, part sportsman, part village storyteller, and part Spike Milligan. Above all else, I have always known you are what I hope I have become, a good man. You are the kind of man that lifts the mood and hearts of everyone who knows you. A man people look forward to seeing again. A man people look forward to meeting the first time to see if the stories can actually be true. A man that loved my dear Aunt Pam like no other man ever could. A man who, If I can be even close in estimation, then I will feel proud beyond words. When I thought of who could be master of ceremonies at my wedding, my list was very short. It had to be only one name, Graham. I wanted to show my friends and colleagues what my family have always known. If there's a mark to be made in time for something special, let it be written in the tears of joy rolling down people's faces as they hear from the poet laureate. I love you dearly, Graham. I will carry you with me all of my days. Love, David.
Thanks, Tony, and thanks, David, for those beautiful words. And I think our last speaker might be Graham's brother, Dennis, who's going to share. Wouldn't be a steel man show without a little bit of poetry.
There's a bit of disparity between the two speakers here today. Yes, thank you. I am basically here to recite a poem, specifically on behalf of Graham's request, but I would like to share perhaps certainly my thanks, extend my thanks as for all the people that have helped Graham over these past several months. It's been pretty mind-blowing to see the response of people, and it reminds me of a saying that when we all ready to leave this mortal coil, do not look for our tombs in the earth, but in the hearts of the people that knew us. And I think that's very appropriate in Graham's circumstance, and I can see spirit in the hearts of many people around here. The poem that Graham has selected is an elegy from a church, country churchyard, and it goes: the curfew tolls the knell of a parting day. The lowing herds walk slowly over the lea. The ploughman plods his weary way home and leaves the world in darkness and to thee. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dennis, and thanks to all the people who have spoken about Graham. He certainly has left his mark on family, on friends, and obviously the community, as I said before, the community in which he lived and loved. Graham meant different things to each and every one of us. We all had our own personal relationship with him. So whilst we're going to take a moment to play a song of reflection, and it's called See You When I'm Looking At You. That's pretty much what he would say today. See you when I'm looking at you. So during that time, I invite you to think about what you meant to him and what he meant to you. And there's an opportunity for anybody, if they wanted to, I think there's some flower petals and some gum leaves and things if anybody wanted to make their own personal farewell. And there's still some room on his coffin if you wanted to write a little story there. Thank you.
I'll see you when I'm looking at you, baby. I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you when I'm looking at you, darling. I'll see you on the other side. One fine day, gonna meet you at your front gate, yeah. One fine There will be songs, and we will be singing them again someday soon. Will you tell us when it's time to play for you and sing for you?
I'll touch your face as our eyes greet the same sun, yeah. We shall rise, all things we love will be again. Until then, I'll see you when I'm looking at you, baby. I'll see you. Come what may, this must be a beginning. Come what may, 'cause I know it's not the end. It's not the end. I'll see you when I'm looking at you, baby. I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you when I'm looking at you, darling. I'll see you on the other side. Stay safe, my friend, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hi, everybody. Dad was a consummate manager, project manager, and as we've heard, he project managed his own funeral. So, you know, the fact that you're all here is probably because of him, of course. And one of his favourite songs and one of my favourite songs is the Diamantina Drover, and so I just want to sing this. This is for you, Dad. Faces in the photograph are faded, and I can't believe he looks so much like me. 10 long years today since I left for Oak Station, saying I won't be back till the droving's done. for the rain never falls on the dusty Diamantina. A drover finds it hard to change his mind, for the years are surely gone, like the drays from old Coke Station, and I won't be back till the droving's done. Seems like the sun comes up each morning, sets me up and then takes it all away, for the dreaming by the light of a campfire at night ends with the burning light of day. For the rain never falls on the dusty Diamantina. The drover finds it hard to change his mind, for the years are surely gone, like the drays from old Court Station, and I won't be back till the droving's done. Sometimes think I'll settle back in Sydney, but it's been so long and it's hard to change my mind, for the cattle trails go on, and fences roll forever, and I won't be back when the droving's done. For the rain never falls on the dusty Diamantina. A drover finds it hard to change his mind, for the years are surely gone, like the drays from old Coke Station, and I won't be back when the droving's done. For the rain never falls on the dusty Diamantina. A drover finds it hard to change his mind, for the years are surely gone, like the drays from old Cork Station, and I won't be back till the droving's done, and I won't be back when the droving's done.
Well, thanks to the band. Thanks very much. And I think everything's okay over there. Yep. Okay. We'll carry on. Today we're all here to give thanks for the life of Graham Steele. So today let us all cherish the years that we shared with him, the love that we received from him, and of course the good that we saw in him. We remember of all his special gifts and all his talents, especially his love for family and friends and his involvement in our community. Today we remember all of his family and friends, especially those who are unable to be here today for whatever reason. But in a special way, we remember his soulmate Pam, his children Kate, Rebecca, Richard and William, his 10 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren. We remember his sister Lynn, brother Dennis and the whole extended family. And we ask that we all be granted courage at this time of loss and strength to meet the days ahead. Friends, Graham's now safe. He's already through this life's barrier and free to begin another reality, to experience whatever joy awaits him there. But for us, it's important that we say this final farewell to his spirit and to his body as we commit his body to its natural end. Today, we are comforted to know that all his pain has ended. His spirit is free, and that he leaves this life confident in the knowledge that he has accomplished his task. May any regrets that we feel today be turned into gratitude for the time that we shared with Graham. And may the chill and darkness of his death give way to the warmth and sunshine of his memory, his smile, and of course his lifestyle. So Graham, we wish you well and we thank you for being part of our life. We honour your life on earth and we wish you peace ever after. We will never forget you. Journey well, our friend. Thanks for the memories. Now in a few moments, our special time here together is going to end as we resume to live our busy lives as best we can without Graham. So once again, on behalf of Pam and the whole family, thank you all for being here today to share this special time with them and to show your love, your respect and your support. And again, thanks to all those who have joined us via the live streaming service. Now, it wouldn't be a rugby gathering without a beer and a barbecue sausage. So you're all invited to stay and join with the family and friends to share memories and stories of Graham. And today they don't all necessarily have to be true. We know he was pretty good at yarns. I don't say he told lies, but he was pretty good at making up some yarns. So I'm very sure that there are many special and good times to remember because really that's what this day is all about. So after a while there'll be drinks at the bar, of course. You know where the toilets are. The barbecue will be cooked and there'll be a couple of places where you'll be able to get a hot sausage and it'll be better than Bunnings, I'm sure. And now may we leave this special place in quietness of spirit and with peace in our hearts, offering our love and support to Pam, to all of Graham's family, his friends and each other. And I read once where this little saying, it says, we come with nothing and we go with nothing. But one great thing that we can achieve in our beautiful life is a little remembrance in somebody's mind and a small place in someone's heart. Graham had many hearts. Our final song today is going to be again by the Ballina Rugby Club Bush Band, and it's called Balsing Matilda, as you could imagine. And during this time, Graham's coffin is going to be carried by family and friends to the hearse. And the Bush Band told me that in about an hour's time, after you've had a chance to have a sausage and a few drinks, because apparently they sound better when you've had a few drinks, in about an hour's time they're going to start up again. I think there's also some petals if people wanted to. At the hearse, if anybody wants to say a final farewell, the hearse won't be just rushing off, they'll be there for a little bit. So may you all find peace in your hearts, and may Graham Steelman find eternal rest and eternal peace.
Calling all rugby members and friends, you're all invited to create a guard of honour for Steely as he exits the building. Please sing along. Once a jolly swagman, he camped by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree. And he sang as he sat and watched his Billy boil. And well, come a waltzing Matilda with me. A waltzing Matilda, Matilda, me darling. Oh, come a waltzing Matilda with me. A waltzing Matilda and leading a water baggie. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. And down came the jumbuck to drink from the billabong, and up jumped the swagman and he grabbed him with glee. And he sang as he shoved that jumbuck in his tucker bag. Well, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. A waltzing Matilda, Matilda, me darling. Oh, come a waltzing Matilda with me. A waltzing Matilda and leading a water baggie. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Down came the squatter, mounted on his thoroughbred, and down came the troopers, a 1, 2, 3. And whose is the jumbuck that you've got in your tucker bag? Well, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. A waltzing Matilda, Matilda, me darling. Oh, come a waltzing Matilda with me. A waltzing Matilda and leading a water baggie. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Jumped the swagman and he sprang into the billabong. You'll never catch me alive, said he. And his ghost may be heard as you pass by the billabong. Well, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. A waltzing Matilda, Matilda, me darling. Oh, come a waltzing Matilda with me. A waltzing Matilda and leading a water baggie. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with. Let's do it again. Waltzing Matilda, Matilda, me darling. Oh, come a waltzing Matilda with me. A waltzing Matilda and leading a water baggie. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
You remember me when the west wind moves among the fields of barley. You can tell the sun is jealous.
I think we can knock off some of this. Suze.